Is she seeing you as a provider or as a lover? I gotta be honest with you. The reason you're not succeeding in your dating life is because you're not making her fall in love. The guys that take her out on that expensive date, who say all the right things, they're still getting ghosted. Even if they're handsome, even if they're rich, those guys are not embodying the strength, the confidence, the romance, the presence, the humor that make women fall in love. Is she seeing you as a provider or as a lover? Ideally both, but if she's just seeing you as a provider, that's when she's going to use you for whatever resources you're willing to give her without reciprocation. And if you're a guy who doesn't have self-worth, you have no spine, you will allow pretty girls to walk all over you and use you because you don't respect yourself enough to set boundaries. And we need to change that, because if you don't respect yourself enough, that means you don't love yourself enough. And if you don't love yourself enough, no wonder you're not able to attract real love externally. That means we have to do internal work to work on that self-love. Let me tell you a story. When I was 19 and I was first hiring dating coaches and trying to work on my dating life, I had terrible social anxiety where I would get awful panic attacks. I was trying to force myself to go out and approach because that's what the dating coach guys told me. Just keep approaching, and eventually you take enough action, you'll get the results you want. So I believed them. I put on my best clothes. I mustered up all the courage I had from my little college apartment in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm terrified, I'm shaking, I'm nervous, but I get myself to walk to the nearest bar, just trying to hype myself up like, okay, you just gotta walk through the door. You just gotta do it. You just gotta do it. The whole time my heart's racing, I'm terrified, and I get halfway there and I freeze. I stop in my tracks. My mind is flooded with racing thoughts. You can't do this. I hate this. This is so uncomfortable. You're such a loser. This is never gonna work. Nobody's ever gonna love you. And that self-hate and rejection was so strong, it was like an invisible wall that I couldn't cross. So what did I do? I turned around, I did the walk of shame back to my apartment and just started beating myself up, attacking myself mentally, hating myself. The dark thoughts were harsher and meaner and louder than they had been before. I was in agony. It was miserable. I felt like I was being burned alive inside. But little did I know, I was about to have one of the biggest breakthroughs of my life, because the negativity got so dark and so intense that I couldn't fight it anymore. It overwhelmed me to the point where I surrendered. I stopped trying to resist the part of me that felt like a piece of shit, that felt shameful, that felt like a loser. I stopped resisting the fact that I was hopeless. And the moment I stopped fighting myself, I stopped pretending like I was somebody I wasn't, something clicked. I started bawling my eyes out. And I was the kind of logical guy who never was an emotional dude, but I was bawling my eyes out. I was crying. I was screaming into my pillow. This energy just took over and I surrendered to it. And all of this pain and pressure that I'd been building up within myself for years, not feeling good enough, all of that grief and suffering just started pouring out of me. Little did I know, but in that moment where I accepted the fact that I was a bad person, it was the moment I actually started loving myself, because I did believe I was a bad person underneath everything. I'd been lying to myself, trying to act like I didn't think that way. But that level of self-honesty is acceptance, not rejection. And from that day, everything in my life changed. I woke up the next day with a big smile on my face. And it was weird because I wasn't the emotional, happy guy. I was the angry, jaded reject. I was skeptical of my own smile. I didn't believe it would last because I'd been in that state of suffering for so long. But as the days and weeks passed, I continued to feel lighter, to feel happier, to smile easier. And I realized that I had broken through something massive. And from that day, everything started to change. And not too long after, I built the courage to say hi to a cute girl. We ended up going on a date and hooking up. And that was something that I didn't even believe was possible for me. And now years later, I'm in a happy, fulfilling, loving relationship. And the real key I want you to take from that story is that you need to start firstly accepting yourself and loving yourself. If you don't learn to love yourself, you will never be able to attract real love outside of yourself. This is what guys miss in dating. All these dating coaches are trying to tell guys that they need to do this big performance and manipulation just to trick women into thinking that they're good enough. That is the wrong approach. You will either attract shallow, toxic, manipulative women, or they will eventually see past your mask and realize you're not the man that you're presenting yourself to be. And that's when they're ghosting you. That's when they're rejecting you. If you're confused as to why you get ghosted, this is why. You didn't build that genuine attraction and love and romance with her. She's either not invested enough because you're not creating that energy, or she eventually sees past the mask. Because I know you. I know you don't want fake love. Yes, I know some connection is better than none, but let's be honest, if you've been in a toxic relationship, aren't you glad you're out of that? I know you want more than that. You want real love. You want safe love, where your inner child can play and express, be creative, be genuine, when you can be held and accepted for all of your emotions, where you don't have to be this perfect, stoic creature, but you're allowed to be human. You're allowed to show heart, feelings, and be loved and accepted for all of it. The problem is a lot of you don't believe that exists because you haven't seen it. And you haven't seen it because your parents didn't model it for you, what healthy, secure relationships look like. And social media is not modeling it for you. It's showing you extremist views of very toxic cultures. And it's manipulating you to believe that that's where society is at. But that's not true. Most people are decent people. Most people also just want to be loved for who they are. They're not this user, manipulative, toxic person. We're all just doing our best. Don't be fooled by social media. Don't believe it. These people are profiting off of your suffering and your isolation. The people creating these algorithms don't want you getting into healthy relationships because you will actually start spending less time on their platform and they make less money. So stop believing the bullshit on social media. You have to wake up. You have to believe that healthy people exist and that it's possible for you to work to become that person that is then able to attract healthy love. Because if you give up hope, you will stay stuck. Nothing will change if nothing changes. And you need to take accountability and responsibility for all of the results you're getting. It's on you. It's a direct reflection of where you're at. And if you don't like that reflection, then it's time to take a look inwards and to do some serious work on ourselves. And it doesn't just have to be heavy therapy and rummaging through trauma all day. There's so much we can do to learn how to have fun with our inner child, how to have fun with ourselves, how to enjoy being with ourselves. Because the more you learn to enjoy being with yourself, the more other people will enjoy being with you. It's a direct reflection. It's so simple. And being able to enjoy your own company is so much more important than your height, your looks, and your bank account in terms of attracting high quality women. Yes, those things matter, of course. A woman wants a strong man who will protect her and provide for her so her security needs are met, of course. But that's not what makes a woman fall in love. That's not what makes relationships great. What makes relationships great is how you feel with each other every single day. It's the laughter you share together. It's those looks you give each other in those little fun moments when you both understand each other. It's the way you grab each other and hold each other like you love them and you desire them. That's the birth of romance. That's what creates that kind of love that you're really looking for. No more pickup tactics and tricks and bullshit. If you want the best love that life has to offer, you need to start being fully authentic. Because the highest quality people do not accept that bullshit and that inauthenticity. They will sniff it out and they will put a massive boundary and not allow your inauthenticity to penetrate their sanctity, their love, their safety. I don't care how much you've been struggling. This work is achievable for everybody watching. No matter how lonely you feel, no matter how many negative beliefs run through your head about yourself that you believe too often, you can do something about this. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. I know because I was so ready to off myself. I was almost convinced that I was going to die alone, that I was going to end up an 80-year-old man, miserable, crotchety, and have nobody who loves me or cares about me. And I felt that way for almost a decade. So if I can make this transformation, I know that you can. And I've helped tons of guys whose self-esteems were through the floor to actually start doing this work and start feeling happier, start feeling worthier. And then they start dating. Then they get the courage to talk to that pretty girl. And things start to happen. And eventually they find their wives. This journey is real. Those results are real. As much as your ego wants to tell you that it's all fake. Because the truth is, this stuff is difficult. This is hard work. This is you having to take inventory and account of all the parts of yourself that you don't like and learn how to transform that relationship. It's completely doable, but it takes some real authentic work. And you have to be willing to do that to get those kinds of results. There is no other way. So if you want to learn more about this work, subscribe.